Thank you for taking the time for doing this today. I'm really enjoying season 2 of The Flight Attendant. Thank you for giving me the early sneak peek.
Absolutely.
I feel like one of the characters and the actors on the show that I can't talk to anyone about it, but I'm loving it. So thank you.
I'm glad you're enjoying it so far.
Oh, it's fantastic. So I promised myself I would stop after a few episodes. I said, you know what? I want to savor this and I'd like to watch it with like the rest of the world. And I didn't stop. So I've watched all the 6 episodes. So what is it about the show?
At least they saved the last 2 for you.
Yes, I'm glad they did because I have no willpower, I guess. So what is it about the show that makes it so addictive?
Wow. I don't know. I guess because we are as writers and producers just like very excited about storytelling, and we're excited about like telling this particular story for Cassie. And I think it becomes for us like a lot of fun. Like what's our episode out going to be? What are we going to leave people with? How can we bring them? And then this year, especially, it became really important because our release schedule changed. So it's 2-2-1-1-1-1. So it's like, oh, you've got to be thinking about this for a week now. Like it's old school television model. So you have to you got to leave them wanting more.
And with season 2, it can be tricky. You know, a lot of shows have a great first season and then struggle with the second season. So how do you tell the bigger story while staying true to the spirit of the series and but not falling into some of the traps that other follow-up series and film sequels have fallen into?
I will take that. I was on Heroes season 1, so I know a little bit about this question. Let's see. So basically, it was picking up from Cassie's emotional place at the end of season 1 that allowed us to take her on this journey in season 2, because the story didn't end. Sobriety doesn't end the day that you admit that you're sober. You know, at the end of season 1, like Steve was saying, she's 24 hours into admitting she's an addict. So season 2, when we really embrace this idea of what is that journey? She's barely admitted that she has this dark side, this double. And then that sort of exploded the season out for us, idea-wise, into this idea of a bombing and this Steve's vision for the mind palace of these doubles. So it really came out of a desire to explore this journey of sobriety and meet Cassie where she was at the end of season 1.
As it's been revealed now to much of the world, Kaylee has multiple roles this season. Mm-hmm. What is it like working with multiple Kayleys, and is multiple better than one? What challenges and opportunities does that present to you?
Well, obviously it's the opportunity to see Kaley do all these characters, which is a delight for me personally. But the challenges are that using the motion control camera, and you know, it's all very tedious. It involves a great deal of intense work on the part of the director, the camera operator, and the actress. And so those were really long days, but we're incredibly proud of the product. And I think being able to tell the story of a woman who is trying to rid herself of all of these different pieces and realizing, oh, I'm supposed to be trying to bring them in instead of push them away, is a really great place to start storytelling.
Yeah, and I just want to add, what Kaley did this season technically as an actor is unbelievable. To play multiple, 4 different Cassies, and the costume changes and the physicality of what she had to do to match her performance when you blend, you're doing motion capture. So you're taking 2 pictures and blending them and having to put your body in exactly the same position. Unbelievable performance by Kaley, in addition to the nuance of every single Cassie has a little bit different makeup, a little bit different facial expression, a little bit different body. It was really, she really stepped up to that challenge.
I agree 100%. What she's doing there, yeah, she was fantastic in season 1, and we had one of her. And now each one of these is so nuanced, like you said. It's great to see her go out there and to not do something go the easy route. You did something very creative, and it's paying off.
I'm glad you think so. Yeah, that's exciting.
Do you have an end game to this season, to the series? Do you have a plan set ahead, or could it possibly evolve like Doctor Who and follow different flight attendants later on down the line, or spin-offs, anything like that?
I mean, honestly, it could be really anything. We set out even when we were casting season 1, and people were like, how many years do we need to make these actor deals for and things like that, we planned on doing a limited series, but it was always in the air. And my answer was always, if we're going to tell a story in season 1 with a beginning, middle, and an end that feels dramatically satisfying. So if we get a second season, it'll be like a new novel of Cassie Bowden as the flight attendant. And we'll tell a story with a beginning, middle, and an end. So I think at the end of any one of these seasons, our goal is to make it feel like, oh, if that's the end of the show, everyone's going to be okay. And so I think that we do that, I think, pretty successfully with season 2. And so then if we get an opportunity to do a season 3, or if, like you say, it becomes like a Doctor Who type thing, it can still live on in that way.
Yeah, and being a flight attendant, that's where you start. The world's available to you. So there's stories across the globe. It's a clever premise. So you're dealing with sobriety and murder and relationships and commitment. How do you find that balance when you're telling this story?
I mean, for us, it's like a little bit what Natalie said about pulling season 1 emotional arcs into season 2. It's about the authenticity of the emotional journey and always grounding the emotions, because if we ground the emotions of, oh, I screwed up and slept with somebody else, now I have to tell my boyfriend, or, oh, I'm not sure that I want to get married and that's not going to go over well with my fiance. Like, those are very quotidian. I mean, they're intense, but they're like everyday kind of drama, as opposed to someone's pretending to be me and blowing things up. And so if we really ground the emotional stuff, then with the psychological stuff and with the mystery case, we can kind of go to town and like give people the spectacle fix that they're looking for from our show, but still with the emotions.
And the pacing is incredible. You keep just like the viewer locked in episode by episode, but also scene by scene. You're just waiting to see, it's like reading a novel where your chapter ends and you're like, wait, I want to find out what happens to these characters. You have to wait. And sometimes you don't get to find out for an episode or two, especially this season, it seems that way. How do you do it? How do you pull that off?
How do we do it, Natalie?
I think we have just an amazing cast, and you have an amazing, like, Rose Perez as Megan, and you really invested in her journey, right? So you've got this sort of middle-aged woman who unhappy with her life, does this espionage and is forced on the run. So I think that setup in itself, combined with how much we love Rose, just keeps you wanting more. And that's just in one plot. Now you multiply that times Zasha and Dennis and, Annie and Cassie, and then you have a big playground to have people out there and to keep the viewers guessing.
I also think there's something interesting that we do, which maybe not a lot of people know or even would think to ask, is that we had a really fantastic writing staff, but we treat each show is broken into 5 acts and a teaser. So even though we don't have commercial breaks, we're always ramping towards a commercial break. So then when you put it on, it's like, go, go, go. And that's how the episode feels then when we air it.
And finally, what's the most fun part about working on this series?
For me, it's as a playwright, the level of insane things we get to do, mixed with like writing real meaty, like the breakup scene between Cassie and Marco, or getting to write those big meaty scenes, but then also having like synchronized swimming in the Mind Palace, like that being able to do those things, just the playwright in me is like tickled and feels like privileged to get to do it.
How about you, Natalie?
I love all of that, and the writing is my favorite part. But look, going to Berlin and going to Reykjavik with Kaley Cuoco and Rose Perez and Michelle Gomez and Margaret Cho doesn't suck. So I would say there's a behind the scenes travelogue quotient to the show that's equally as fun as it looks on screen.
Well, that's my time for today. I appreciate you taking your time to speak to me, and thank you so much. And congrats on season 2. I think the fans are really going to love it. So
Thank you
so much.
Have a great day.
Bye.